The first question was,
Yeah.
what happened that caused you to reach out? The second question is, why now? What's important about right now? What's changed? Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the
Third question is,
third question is, who owns the project? Meaning, who is the senior executive that said, you need to reach out to ComMotion Sales, or you need to go and talk to get a bunch of vendors together who have this solution. And the reason why that's important is if you can line up your catalyst, your what happened to a senior executive, you have budget. Maybe not every time, 90% of the time. Because especially in this day and age, nobody has cycles. No senior executive is going to say he's probably got plenty of time on his hands. I'm going to have Mike go and talk to a bunch of vendors, and then he's going to bring me proposals, which are going to take me time to review and circulate because I have lots of time on my hands too. No, it's like, you have a problem, I need to fix it. And I'm telling you, as the CIO or CFO or CEO, go get it fixed. So I've got a C-level officer saying, go fix this problem.
so Mike, what do you say or do when you hear something along the lines of, well, I don't really have one?
Now we're getting into, is it personal pain that they're trying to solve? And if you're trying to solve for personal pain by taking your proposal and your information, going to their boss or their boss's boss and saying, aha, it takes me 10 hours a week to manually input information into NetSuite. I found a solution that will do it automatically for just $20,000 a year. Aren't I wonderful? And the CFO says, that's not a problem for me. That's not a problem I even need to solve. And frankly, I pay you a salary to do that. And so I'm sorry that you're not having dinner with your family one night a week because you're putting information into NetSuite. Now, as the salesperson on that call, and by the way, this is now takes us back to the thing about having somebody outside of sales running sales. Somebody outside of sales is going to say, no, that's still an opportunity and you should convert that. So my SQ percentages go up and I have my conversion rates and all that stuff. And the vanity metrics, I pat myself on the back and say, look how great we are. But what we're not doing is we're not looking further down the pipeline to see what deals stall, what stage do they stall at, do they ever even close? Which is, by the way, that's what we do in sales. We close deals. There's nothing valuable to the business of having a deal just sit and languish for weeks or months or years at the proposal stage and never close. This is one of the things that we kind of screwed up over the last 10 or 15 years. So who owns the project? And sometimes we have to be very specific. I'm not reaching out to that person. I'm not reaching out to the reason I'm asking you is I want to make sure that this is an actual project. And if it's not, if it's like, we've been talking about it, it might be a project for 2026, 2027. That's fine. That's great. Those are leads. We need those and we nurture them. And that's where we use technology to send information every month, invite them to events and on. Eventually, maybe they will buy. I'm not saying you kick them to the curb and never talk to them again. Quite the opposite. Those are leads and that's the lifeblood of the business. But they don't go into your pipeline and they certainly don't go into your forecast. And the problem is that's what we've been doing for the last several years is we consider that the deal to be qualified. It goes into the pipeline. We now end up with a 3-4x pipeline, but we don't close deals. And we don't close deals because they were never actually qualified. Which takes us back to the fourth question, which is, when do you need to be in production? So now you tie the 4 W's together. If I have a catalyst, I have a business problem that my solution can actually solve. I have a senior executive telling me you need to go solve it, and it needs to be fixed by October 1st. I have a qualified opportunity. This is now when I get to go and sell. And now I can go do an actual discovery, which is going to lead me to doing a very specific demonstration, presentation, a proposal that ties all of the things that I've learned together to get to a yes. And I know I'm painting with a very broad brush. People need to understand I've been doing this a long time. I work with multiple businesses. I read a ton. I have a large network or a few large networks I'm involved with. So I get lots of information. There may be companies out there that have this really figured out. They've nailed it. They're doing great, but I'll tell you, they're few and far between.